Queen City. This is Jeremy Clark from Queen City Signature, and this is episode number 3 in our sauna series, talking about different aspects of the benefits and use of a full spectrum infrared sauna. And today's episode, I want to talk specifically about cardiovascular health, the benefits to your cardiovascular system with frequent use of the full spectrum infrared sauna. Now it's no secret to anyone that cardiovascular disease is actually the #1 killer in the United States, even in front of cancer. And so your cardiovascular health is really, really important for not only your longevity, but also the quality of life as you age. There was the largest human study that's ever been conducted regarding the cardiovascular health and benefits of full spectrum infrared sauna use was actually conducted at the University of Eastern Finland, which is really not shocking considering Finland is known for its sauna use. And the person that headed this up is Dr. Jari Laukkanen, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's a research cardiologist at the university, and he studied over 2,300 participants for more than 20 years to track the cardiovascular benefits of frequent sauna use. So for the results that he found, super significant benefits to full spectrum use as it pertains to cardiovascular health. But for what I'm going to tell you, what he found the most benefits come from at least 4 sauna sessions a week of at least 20 minutes each. Once you get into fewer sauna sessions or a shorter duration of time, the benefits do reduce fairly dramatically. But there are still benefits to sauna use, even occasional sauna use. But for what he found, these shocking numbers, he found that those numbers came from more frequent use for longer durations. And he found that there was a 63% reduction or less risk of cardiac death, 50% less risk of cardiovascular disease, 48%, so nearly 50% less risk of coronary heart disease, and then a 40% reduced risk of all-cause mortality, so things like stroke and things like that. So your overall risk of disease, sickness, and death greatly reduced from frequent sauna use. So it's a really, really big deal that Western society is starting to come around on and figure out just how beneficial it is, and safe, by the way. These results are likely due to the balance of the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is your parasympathetic branch, which is your rest and digest, and then the sympathetic branch, which is your fight and flight. So when you're able to use sauna use, it actually stimulates your parasympathetic, the rest and digest nervous system, and so it sort of takes the edge off. You know how they'll talk about when they talk about stress. Stress is the activation of the sympathetic fight or flight nervous system, and so when they say that stress will kill you, that's actually true. Sauna use, it stimulates that parasympathetic nervous system. And another thing that it does that's really beneficial is it actually reduces your blood pressure. It does this a few ways. Number one, as you are taking in this infrared heat, remember the far infrared spectrum is bioidentical. It's the same that we produce ourselves, if you remember from the second episode in the sauna series. But through this stimulation, it's wanting to reduce your core body temperature, and so what it does is it opens the floodgates. It actually expands the diameter, vasodilation. It'll expand the diameter of your arteries to allow more blood flow, allow more heat to escape, and then as it does that, just like working a muscle, it'll actually work your arteries, and it not only does it increase the diameter, this vasodilation, but it actually will reduce the stiffness of the arterial walls. So now you've got arteries that are more pliable, which also contributes to a reduction in blood pressure. So that's a big deal. There is also evidence that frequent sauna use will reduce the risk of dementia, things like Alzheimer's. This is because, and we'll talk about this when we talk about the athletic side of sauna use, but it's because of this activation of what's called heat shock proteins. Heat shock proteins are proteins that Number one, they scavenge free radicals. Free radicals, when you hear words like oxidize, things like that, these free radicals are actually these electrons that get broken off of the atoms, and you can sort of think of it as bullets bouncing around inside of a room, poking holes and things. And so these heat shock proteins, they scavenge free radicals, but then they seek out to repair and build up the cells that are damaged through things like oxidation. Oxidation comes from poor diet, stress, exposure to toxins, things like that. So these heat shock proteins, which are activated by the by the far infrared spectrum of an infrared sauna, they actually seek to repair these cells. Healthy cells means they're able to function properly, and there's a far less likely risk of disease, and that includes of dementia as well. The other thing that these heat shock proteins do, or I should say these damaged proteins that the heat shock proteins will repair, these damaged cells, they have a tendency to aggregate, and as they aggregate, they'll almost calcify, and they'll form a plaque. And it's this plaque they've come to find that has a tendency to aggregate in the brain, and that is what leads to degeneration of brain tissue and then dementia, disease. So these activation of the heat shock proteins, it activates the protection and the repair of these damaged cells. So that's a big deal. These are just a few of the cardiovascular benefits. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube. You can actually find all these episodes of the Sauna series in YouTube, and we welcome your feedback there as well. More than anything, when it comes to the sauna, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, I feel like we've really found something that is, if you use it consistently, it feels good, it makes you feel good, and there's a host of benefits and no downsides. It's super safe, and so we've discovered this thing that has so many awesome benefits, and we want to share it so that you can experience the benefits and improve your own life as well. So that's what we're here for. Ultimately, we're here to serve. We hope we can help, and we would love to hear what you have to think about it. So get a hold of us. Have a great day. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.